You've probably heard the expression, not all women are like that. Yeah. And you've said to yourself, well, they kind of are, aren't they? They are. They are. All women are like X. But the thing is, see, you have to understand the issue of the word all. Not all women. When we talk about all women or all whatever, we're not really talking about 100% of them. We're talking about one or two standard deviations from the norm. Because you see, in any distribution curve, normal distribution curve, right? The typical bell curve, right? See, right down the middle is the mean, the average, right? And what happens is that to either side of the mean, there's one standard deviation and two standard deviations, and the curve goes down, right? And so what happens is that when people are talking about all of something, that all people are X, they're talking about the vast majority. And we're going through a weird cultural paradigm where people want to negate the validity of stereotypical thinking and obvious generalizations. I'm being very cagey in my language because I don't want to get into trouble. I don't want anybody to accuse me of bigotry or this or that or the other. See, but the fact is, human beings are extremely good at pattern recognition. It's a survival trait. We as human beings, as a species, we learned very early on, before we even knew language, we learned to spot patterns. Patterns in our environment, patterns among other people. And we learned to trust those patterns, to realize that those patterns aren't 100% accurate, but they're pretty close. But for political reasons and weird social reasons of social approval, well, nowadays people want to deny the validity of stereotypes, deny the validity of observed reality. When you see 90 times something happens and only like 10 times it doesn't happen, well, out of those 100 events, it occurs 90 times and you say, well, you know, it happens all the time. You don't mean literally all the time 100%, but you're saying it in a way that it's clear that statistically the exceptions are so rare that you can just go ahead and generalize. That's exactly what a lot of people want to deny. They want to deny it because they are exceptional, usually in a very negative way. And they want to sort of like bring to themselves the exceptionalism. And so that's why they try to eliminate the notion of generalizations. And that's why they keep saying, you know, not all, when in fact it is all. You really, really, really want to avoid this kind of not all thinking, because it is all. You want to avoid the not all thinking because it blinds you to possibilities. Let me give you a very specific example. It's going to be an ugly example, but suppose you go to a really, really bad neighborhood. You go to a really bad neighborhood with a high crime rate, and you go in a Ferrari with expensive clothes and whatnot. It doesn't matter the racial composition of the neighborhood. I'm just positing a hypothetical neighborhood. It could be right here in Kharkov, you know, which is I think it's a 97% white neighborhood, city rather. So you can go to a bad neighborhood here, and you go in a Ferrari, you go in expensive clothes, you're going to get robbed. It's not going to happen every single time. It doesn't even mean that every single person there is a thief. No, I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that if I go in a Ferrari with a Louis Vuitton whatever, I'm going to probably get robbed if I go to that bad neighborhood. So I'm not going to go. Am I saying that all people there are thieves? No. But I'm saying that there are enough thieves that it's stupid, right? But this myopia of saying that, no, not all people, and you shouldn't generalize, you should not generalize. It's wrong to generalize. Oh, you got to avoid that shit like the plague, okay? You must generalize. It's the only way to sort of like understand reality. It's impossible to understand every single person and every single situation. You have to generalize. You cannot exist if you don't generalize. I mean, imagine something trivial. Imagine I say, you know, not all cars can run you over. You have to discern which cars can run you over and which not. And so to generalize that all cars can run you over if you cross the street, that's wrong. That's carist. Yeah, you're bigoted against cars. You'd be like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Come on. If I wander out into the middle of the street, any car, no matter the make, is likely going to kill me if I let it strike me. Maybe like some smart car, one of those little micro cars. If it crashes into me, it's not going to kill me. But all the others, yeah. See? But by this stupid mentality that is currently prevalent, people would take the exception of the smart car, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen, it's like this micro car that, Jesus Christ, I think a bunny could run over it. But anyway, they take the exception of this micro car and use it to generalize on the flip side. See? To generalize and say, well, see, there's the exception, so your generalization doesn't work. That's what they're doing. And it's a very dishonest move. But the thing is, see, they are fooling themselves and potentially putting you in danger. And that's what you want to avoid. They're putting you in danger because they're giving you a false sense of reality. See? Look, the whole point of my channel, the whole point of all of the content I've ever made, is to look at reality as it actually is. Not look at it as we wish it were. It's very easy to wish for things to be a certain way. And of course, we have that hope that reality will be better. But it's not. And we have to look at things as they actually are. And generalizing is a key tool to understanding reality, because we do not have the time or the energy to investigate every single particular case. We have to make generalizations, and we do so all the time without a second's glance or a second's thought. I mean, like for instance, you see some yellow fruit that's slightly curved, and you say, oh, that's a banana, I can eat it. Do you do some sort of chemical test to the banana to make sure that you can eat it? No, of course not. You just glance at it and you generalize. You generalize. And you do that all the time. And you've eaten a banana before, and so you see a new banana and you're like, oh, I'll eat that. It's probably going to be good and yummy. You generalize from all the other bananas that you have eaten in your life. And you have a whole grab bag of experience with bananas. You've eaten bananas that were too green. You've eaten bananas that were past their prime, that were a little overripe. Sometimes you've eaten those like nasty brown ones that are all mushy, but they're actually kind of good, Yeah, you've eaten all kinds of bananas. You have a lot of experience eating bananas. So when you see a new banana, you know more or less what to expect, right? You have generalized from past experience, right? But there's a whole group of people today who want you to deny your past experience. Don't do that. These people use all kinds of derogatory language to prevent you from making that generalization from experience. Don't fall for their trap. Don't. Go out of your way to fight that trap. Understand that the past knowledge that you have of whatever subject, it's relevant to what is happening right in front of you. And if your past experience tells you that something tends to be this way, not every time, not 100%, but 90%, or maybe even just 70%. 70%, Jesus, that's a landslide victory in an election. If past experience tells you that 70% of the times it's going to go one way, then assume that the next time you come across the same situation, it's going to go the same way, and be prepared. Don't allow yourself to be dictated by these crazy people, because we are living at a time where a lot of crazy people are having their say and bullying the rest of us into doing really stupid things, things that are dangerous for us. Don't fall for their trap.